Gaz, yes, standing in the now solitary space.
I think there was scratching, or is that someone else?
There's wherever you go, there is the scratching in the walls. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is this a dead end, an empty room? Do I see where I came in from?
Oh yeah. The door, because he was stood in the doorway behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you are the door itself sitting open, looking back out to the corridor outside. The room you're currently in, no real evidence as to what it was. Now covered in furnishings, covered in sheets and dust that hangs heavily in the air and sits on most of the horizontal surfaces.
Mm. Okay. I'm just kind of looking around. Was the guy's name Clay? I feel like his name was Clay, or is that someone else?
Yeah, he's Clay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, Clay! Thought you wanted to tell me how worthless I was. Where'd you go? And I'm just kind of pacing around the room, trying to figure out what's going on here. I'm like, oh yeah, supposed to find Crow. Wonder where he went. I just try to backtrack my way a little bit.
As you walk down the corridor, backtracking the way you came, you hear voices, you hear the stamp of feet. This rhythmic boom, 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 boom. Large door ahead of you.
Well, I open it.
And for a brief moment, there's a time when the room seems to shift between what should be there, what you're expecting, with the furnishings covered in sheets and the cobwebs that line the walls, and a underground bare floor, just the stone floor of foundations, with a circular ring made of rope just set out, and faces that watch you as you pass by, and all of them stamping back, hitting the impromptu and makeshift barricades that separate fighters from the crowds.
Gaz sighs. He unbuttons his jacket, shrugs it off, and starts to walk towards the circle.
And with that, let's jump back to Crow. Still in the company of a dimmer sister, who seems to flit around the room almost impossibly. As you blink, she's changed places.
I'm slowly spinning the lightning baton between my fingers as I try to map out so I can maybe start predicting the movements a little bit.
As I would say, if you want, you can make me a check on that.
What type of check?
Control,
probably?
Control works, yeah.
Or analyze, because I'm also trying to collect evidence,
Both.
so to speak, to...
Yeah, both of those work, yeah.
Risky standard?
Yes. Okay, it is somewhat unpredictable. There's a decided unnatural aspect, but you have an idea of something of a pattern. It's a semi crossing in this the semicircle in front of you, clockwise then anti-clockwise, but at different points along that.
So what exactly are we doing here?
That master face turns back towards you. I can't answer that.
What is that supposed to be? That only I can answer that?
Flips again. Yes. Exactly.
Oh, kind of sighs and closes his eyes for a moment. Just taking in that slow breath. And using the pattern, starts counting in his head slowly. 1, 3, and then he moves and attempts to make a swing.
Go for it, make me that check.
Straight subdue.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I want to push myself here for an extra die. Sure, I'll push myself for an extra. Didn't really need to, but got it.
As step forward, you feel that baton connect as the figure gives way. You definitely make contact as the form of what was once a dimmer sister that had taken those faces, and most significantly of all, the face of Lottie, begins to collapse in on itself, and as the prone form lies there on the ground, the eyes of the mask still seemingly looking up at you. You see under the robes different points where it begins to undulate randomly, almost like it's writhing.
Crow does take a small step back, but then still instinctively leans down. Kneels down and kind of points the baton at the body and goes, I always keep my word. Whether it be about this or anything else, I will keep my word.
And from the bottom of the robe, where the feet were, the hem lifts up slightly. And you see the little nose, the whiskers twitch in the air. One rat, as a rat begins to slink out from below, followed by another, and another.
Crow stands up, backs away, and tries to take stock of the actual room now that feels like the threat is dealt with.
And as you do, the only thing that's evident to to the room is the very large four-poster bed. The mattress of which bare. You see multiple tears, rips in it. Something has evidently been nesting in there. Half the stuffing kind of falling out, and very similarly to Gaz, you see that the other furniture has been covered by sheets. Dust hangs in the air.
Oh. We came here with a specific reason, so... And that was to purify this place.
As the rats get ever closer and closer, beginning to swarm around the tips of your toes.
I am gonna mark off lantern as just so I can get a. It's dusk, it's dark. And light might scare away the rats a little bit.
Okay, so if you want to do that, I'd say you can make a check if you want to try and get them to back off, but you can do that at +1 with the lantern.
Okay. I feel like I'm trying to control here, technically.
That seems pretty reasonable.
I'll take it. I'll take the 6.
First one's that as one begins to crawling over the top of your boot, swing the lantern down. This pitch squeak. It disappears, and as you hold the lantern up, you see the floor is kind of undulating and writhing on itself now, as more and more seem to be flooding from below. That the sight of those robes have now been lost and around you as you swing the light around, you realise they're just leaving this circle wherever you're swinging the light. And as you let's go back to Pale Lady with Sasha. I think was in the company of Sasha, so actually with everything kind of snapping back to as something of normality for yourself. What is Sasha doing at this moment as you feel the walls almost kind of closing in, making this really narrow staircase? Can't hear you, Robin.
I know technology. I know technology, totally. I imagine Sasha is currently still seeing what she was seeing before.
Yes, it's like the walls themselves seem to be like closing in. The stairs seem to be stretching up. It's almost like everything is this house is becoming narrower, but at the same time it's growing around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I imagine her like continuing up the stairs and just observing like she did before.
So, Pale Lady, you would see all this. So as Caroline watches, you see Sasha heading up the stairs ahead of you.
Okay, can I grab her by the wrist to try to stop her?
It depends. You can it's up to you. Sasha, how would you respond to that?
I think she'd try to just pull her arm away. Not really looking back.
I would say both of you make me a contested roll. Let's see how this goes.
Imagine this maneuver.
Maneuver works, yeah.
Finesse. Ish. Skirmish.
For a straight, it's probably more skirmish if you're actually going for a strength. And
well then, they both failed at what they
The
were
battle
trying
of the
to do.
trees. Battle of the
It's-
threes.
as turning back, you see a Skovlan boy, about 12 or 13. He's got a heavy set physique, and grabs hold of you. And as you pull back, the two of you both fall the opposite way. Either of you pull your arm, you fall back, the stairs give way beneath you, and Caroline, you're pushed backwards, falling down, so rolling down the stairs. Would either of you like to resist?
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
So I'm going to say prowess resistance is a level, otherwise it will be a level 1 harm. It's up to you.
Wait, it's resistance or...
A level 1 harm.
Actually, I might take the level 1 harm.
So you take 2 stress for Caroline as you pick yourself up, clothes now covered in dust, and
You know
look
what?
back.
I'm gonna resist actually, sorry for interrupting.
Okay, yeah, no worries. And 1 stress. That's you.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I
And
hate
you
this
both-
game.
As you both pick yourselves up from the respective dust and in the gloom, Caroline, you look back to the stairs where you last saw Sasha fall backwards. The stairs remain there. But Sasha does not. As Sasha, you look up and you've fallen through this old wooden staircase. You can see the boards above you. A little bit of light that streams in.
I'm gonna dust myself off, get up, and just... It's probably dark, right? Where I've fallen
It
in.
is, yeah, save for the light that comes in from above, which you currently standing in. You seem to be in a small room.
Mm-hmm.
Bed sits in one corner, little sink in another, and 2 shelves which contain a few toys neatly ordered, and some books stacked on one side.
I'm going to approach the desk.
As you do, there are some papers on it. And I'll give you a moment to think about this as well. But we'll jump back to Caroline for a minute, but I would like, when we come back to Sasha, tell us what's on the papers.
Okay.
So, Caroline, yes, it's as you look back at the stairs where Sasha was not moments previously. You see someone else stood at the top of them. The face lost in the shadow, but light from behind silhouettes them. As you recognize your own body, same height, same slightly untamed hair, same posture. Enjoying the ride. Not sure that's yours to be running around in.
Hello, Violette. You're not here.
Oh, but I am. This is somewhere I can be free.
Is it? Or is it just another kind of cage?
Begins to walk down towards you. It may be another kind of cage, but at least I have freedom to move within it.
You're right.
She runs her hands over the balcony, the banister, kicks up this cloud, all this dust that fills the air. She kind of looks at it all on her fingers, smells the mustiness that hangs, and goes, "Really is amazing the things you miss. Stuck in a corner. Oh, this is liberating."
Well, I can pretend that it's you for a second, I guess. And you know, never wanted that for you, right? I didn't choose this.
Well, I mean, you could always give it back.
We both know we can't. We both know I would if I could. We both know we tried. You're the one who couldn't let me go. Could have just let me die and become some sort of spirit. I would still have been around it. It wasn't enough for you.
And
Why couldn't I let you? Why couldn't you let me go?
And as she gets ever closer, her neck kind of begins to snap around until it's sitting at this awkward angle. Arms kind of break at the strangeness, and it's as the head snaps back up, and the eyes are lost in the shadow, and you do see the blood that begins to run down from them. Mouth agape is, "I'm not the one who's not letting go," as she kind of marionettes towards you, like really fast, like kind of rattling, kind of, and this unnatural movement. As you do, like everything kind of about her bones seem to break in the wrong direction. And with that, let's go back to Gaz.
Gaz is stepping towards this ring. Now his coat is off. Assumedly the shirt underneath is also off. The new arm is fully on display, and he just Who's being broken next?
You hear the voice from behind of, "I thought you would have guessed that by now." As you see your challenger sitting sideways, own manager kind of hunched over, giving the instructions. You see the figure nod, stands up, flexes, and tries out the new arm. The one person you've never been able to break down. Your own worst enemy.
Well,
You know, I heard he just makes excuses for why he doesn't achieve anything. Now isn't the time. I've got things to do.
you know, Clay, I've always been treated as a blunt instrument. Simple. That's the role I've chosen to play up to this point. That's the role that's been in my family up until now. But you look at me and you mark my words. I have been done a favor by my fellows of the Imperative. They have replaced my arm. They have done enough for me. I will help them here. I will stop whatever's happening here. But once that's done, I am no longer the instrument. I will be the hand that wields it. And I will destroy anyone or thing that gets in the way of that. Even me. As I just start running towards it, running towards the copy of myself, and I guess...
As it starts running, kind of like mirroring your every move.
Yeah.
Both hands go back to take that first punch, and they swing towards each other, kind of in mirror of one another. Make me a check.
Alright. This sounds like a skirmish if I've ever heard it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely gonna push myself here. Critical!
Amazing. as you swing.
Was that
back,
a desperate action?
I don't think so.
Okay,
No,
okay, sorry.
As you do, there's that moment of everything begins as you swing forward, and you see the faces that snap through old rivals. As the final one, as the punch connects, is Clay himself, and you feel the jaw give way, and he is sent sprawling backwards. And as he does, as he hits the ground, you're alone. Back in the house, in the corridor. Just dust motes in the air hanging around you. You hear the scratching of the floor. You see a light emanating from one of the rooms up ahead as rats begin to pour out of the doorway. And as you move ever closer, you see the figure of Battered Crow within, swinging the lantern round, keeping the rats at bay as much as possible.
Crow! Come on now. You're a mighty spirit warden. Don't be afraid of a few rats. Get a hold of yourself, man. As I start walking up, just stomping down with my boots as I walk towards them.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Oh, I'm gonna say, if you're going in that route, get towards him, that is gonna be a desperate action.
Alrighty. Actually, could that be a command for him? to try to snap him out of it?
I mean, he's not
Oh,
lost in
okay.
anything. The rats
He's
are
not.
very, very real.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Oh,
Which is why if you're actually going to him, you're going to be wading through rats.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a 6.
As it's slow process, you feel them begin to rise up. They grab onto every little bit of cloth they can. They begin to climb up your legs. As it's going, as you're walking forward, your arm is just as it's keeping the human arm above and just using that hull arm that can't be bitten just to pull them off and throw them. You see them disappear into the writhing mass of the floor has just been engulfed by at this point, save for a ring of light which is being thrown around from the lantern by Battered Crow. And as you manage to reach, let's jump back to Sasha. In this room, what is on the desk?
I'm sorry, what?
In this small room, what's on the desk?
I imagine it's papers that she picks up are recently signed documents of her mom, of the Wyatt, Mrs. Wyatt. Why are y'all giggling? I'm giggling. Hello?
Hello. Yes. So the papers. Some of them are very, very formal in nature, stamped and signed off, saying, "Thank you for your consideration, your continued support of the House of the Weeping Ladies, the Weeping Ladies Home for Forgotten Children. At this present time, we have accepted your proposal to take Sasha into the care of your household. Please find attached a missive from Sasha herself." Turning over the page, very large, clumsily drawn letters say. Starts. Dear Mrs. Wyatt, thank you for giving me a new home.
I imagine as I'm reading what I wrote, I almost like just scrunch up the paper. Because it reminds her of how it felt to be so helpless, be so desperate almost for to have a home. And she opens the desk and just puts it in there and slams the drawer shut.
And as you do, the door behind you opens. It's a long drawn out creak. as another figure stands there. The silhouette of the long coat and the custodian's hat on.
Oh.
Just stands in the doorway, doesn't say anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Did I miss something?
What would you like to do?
This is the custodian?
Custodian's helmet is one of those old British policeman's hats. Blue coat.
Oh. Did the figure say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, when you said yes, said yes.
I'm gonna turn around and look at who exactly I'm talking to.
It's... You can't make out the features. They seem to have their back to you. The head is turned ever so slightly. And you recognise them enough to see the bob blonde hair. As the head begins to turn around to look at you, you see that there are no features. Face just a plain, almost like porcelain mask. Completely smooth.
You're me.
The head turns back and the voice seems to come from behind you of, I'm who you see. I'm Taisharasi, who isn't even Taisharasi, a blue coat who's not a blue coat. There's an answer in this place.
I imagine I'm going to turn back to the desk. And I remember Mrs. Wyatt, her desk had a mirror. And, open the desk that I just slammed. And reach for a flesh-colored, a makeup. And almost in my mind, thinking about the featureless blonde woman that I saw. Just try to imitate on myself, which isn't featureless, to say the least.
In the mirror, it's almost like as you apply it, the features begin to become almost drawn away. It's your eyes begin to, it's almost eyes, nose, mouth begins to disappear, whereas and as you look more, you realise your reflection is, while has been out of sync almost by a few moments, is becoming more and more tied up. Almost like your cat is catching up to itself.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by LifeSpark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter.
You've heard the Silent Song.
We all have the legend, the curses.
Some foolishness about a world as it was meant to be.
A city of ghosts.
An illusion that you can begin again.
How much would you give for silence?